What what are some of your favorite stories from the company as far as like, how you guys have impacted customers?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many. Having like a Discord, a very active Discord server, and a very active Twitter account. We hear stories all day long. But I would say probably my favorite ones are since the release of the debit card, we've had a few folks reach out that have said, I've stopped using my credit cards. I'm not just digging this myself into this debt hole anymore, and I'm just using debit, and it's so weird and new for me, but I'm earning Bitcoin back, and so I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Um, those types of stories, to me at least, for people who are getting out of debt by kind of changing their financial behavior, that to me is like super exciting. That's like what gets me up every day, keeps me wanting to work on Fold all the time. And then also too, I have talked to a few of our users who, they're not from well-off families. Like being able to accumulate wealth over time is not something that they ever thought would happen for them. So hearing how Fold was like their first touch point with Bitcoin and how, they've stacked like a million sats now, like that's awesome for me to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. It is nice. I mean, that's something that's also changing in Bitcoin is people are kind of migrating more to thinking in sats rather than,
Yeah.
you know, the one Bitcoin unit. And, it feels pretty good to say that you're the owner of a million sats. I mean, that for a lot of
Right.
people, that's a pretty big milestone right now uh, to accomplish. But yeah, I mean that idea of like the incentives changing, of people ceasing to use credit cards because they want to use this product and earn Bitcoin is a huge one. That's
Yeah, for
just
sure.
I remember reading this stat. I think it was from 2018 that like the average household had $16,000 in credit card debt. Um, and as we know, the credit card fees are just absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of interest. It's a lot of um, people operating in the negative when it comes to increasing their wealth. So yeah, products like this are definitely game changers for sure.
Yeah. And
Um,
I know we've heard like from Visa too, like that the behavior with our card is so different from what they see on other new card programs, just because we have this wheel that you spin after every purchase, and so we are seeing that people are paying in smaller increments for things, maybe bringing items up one by one, um, so that they can get a spin after each one. But I think the more interesting piece about that is that because you are, looking at every transaction as it comes in, so you can spin on it, you're a lot more mindful about what you're spending money on too, right? Because you're getting a
hmm.
push notification every time you swipe that card, and it just kind of makes you have to focus a little bit more on, okay, what am I spending my money on? Like, what am I getting back for it? So it just, again, it just makes you more mindful of like where your money's going.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's just how like the difference between credit cards and debit cards works. Uh, in the first place because you have a
Yep.
limited amount of money that you can spend, and then two, yeah, like the incentive of going. So for anybody that doesn't know, the way that the Fold app works is you swipe the card and then you have an hour to spin the wheel and get your reward back. And it's it forces you to look at your phone and go into the app and see what your remaining balance is, and then to see also a list of transactions of what you spent on. So yeah, that totally makes sense. It's very different.